Welcome to Wisdom Work. I'm here with Daphney Thomas, and I'm so excited to have her here today because Daphney and I were just talking. I think we've known each other for almost 20 years. Oh my gosh. And
Yes.
a couple things that I know about Daphney and that I love about Daphney is, first of all, Daphney has an amazing sense of humor. Like, often we end up laughing when I'm with Daphne. And I just love that because it takes something there's something about how we hold our space in the world that's connected, I think, to our sense of humor.
Yeah. Sometimes Q, we just pick up the phone and you'll be like, hello. I say Q, and we just
And
bust out
laugh.
laughing.
Exactly. It's something about the tone and about relationship, about, when you've known someone for a time. And there's some people that we meet that we're like that right away, too, right?
Yep.
One of the things I'll tell you about Daphne, then I'll let her kind of speak a little bit about what she wants you to know about her. But Daphne is the founder of the National Commission for Black Arts and Entertainment.
Yes.
And I just have been watching you and the things that you've been offering. And I have to tell you, like, mm, you're making such a difference. We don't always know. We don't always know, and people don't always tell us. And I just want you to know that even if people aren't saying it, like I see you, and I'm so incredibly proud. Mm, you know, it
Yeah.
really isn't in vain, especially in this time. To be using your own genius in the world is what we need more of.
Yes.
Mm,
Thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Ah.
So, what would you like them to know about you, about who you are in the world?
Oh my God. That's a big question.
Yeah.
Let's see what's coming up. Well, the first thing that came up, literally like, oh my God, the first echo in my head as you said that was, I am my grandfather's daughter.
Mm,
And it's so crazy, Quanita, because like I have really been just feeling him so heavy. Um, Maybe this whole year that I've been in this space down here, where the national office is located. I know you know, but for those who don't know me, the space where our national office is literally right down the street from the last property that my grandparents owned, that my grandfather bought in the 80s, and had this big dream that, when people got married or needed a place to stay, they could always come home. And he was very entrepreneurial, him and my grandmother. And downstairs, they had a storefront and they had a secondhand store. And I just spent so much time in that space. I spent a lot of time outside sweeping in front of the store and in the alley. And I literally, some days when I'm out in front of my office sweeping, I literally look down the street and it's like a time machine. I can see my little self out there with my grandfather, either sitting in his lap or thinking I'm helping him sweep up and take care of his community. And yeah, in a lot of ways, I am really learning more about him through me. And I'm seeing the gifts and the words and the love that he poured into me manifest in the work that I do. While it was not arts related, it still is translating into that. That care. I think you said something about that, for community and love, and all of that is just like oozing through my being. It's like I can't stop it. Not that I'm trying, but it's just
Yeah.
like this effortless thing. Half the time, I don't know what the heck I'm doing with this. I just know that I'm supposed to come. I'm supposed
Yeah.
to show up. And so that's what I'm doing. So right now, I want y'all to know that I am my grandfather's daughter.
It is so interesting because my son is writing a play with a woman that he met at college. And she's from Angola. She's writing about her grandmother and her relationship. And he's writing about my grandfather. And they're looking at how their journeys separately are
Mhm.
parallel with these
Mhm.
relationships and these ancestors. So I love the grandfathers showing up, you
Me
know?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially these grandfathers of color. I think so
Mhm.
often we hear about the grandmothers, but the
Mhm.
grandfathers, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. There was every time I talk to my aunts, we always somehow end up talking about Brown. That's what we call his name was Gilbert Brown. But for whatever reason, all of his kids and grandkids, we called him Brown. And they always talk about there was this particular person back in the day would walk through the alley and he would say he would say, Mr. Brown, feed everybody in town. He would just randomly shout that as he walked through the alley between Grant Park and their property. And I don't remember that. While I have a lot of very vivid memories of those times, I don't remember that, but I feel that in my soul.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
he took care of his. He might cuss you out.
Yes.
My grandfather will cuss you out, but he was gonna be cussing you out, going into his pocketbook, giving
Yeah.
you change, or making sure you had something to eat. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
grandfather energy, father energy,
Yeah.
black father energy is
Yeah.
neat.
It is. It's so funny because I'm offering later on this year at some point a Black Mama Medicine retreat for men. You know?
Yes.
And I wonder like if your grandfather was here with you right now, and I do believe he is. Mm, what would you say to him?
Thank you.
Mm,
Just thank you, because I really feel like the love and Quanita, I only got him for like 3 years of my life. But I just feel like the love that he gave me still carries me,
yeah.
especially in the time and in the spaces when I need it the most.
Hmm.
So, and he showed me what it was to be truly loved by a man and to be provided for and protected. Um, yeah, and like I knew I was his and he was mine. It's something when the grandparent to tell your parents no.
Yeah.
She's with me. Or
Yeah.
send my aunts up to fetch me and bring me back, and that
Yeah. It's
yeah,
everything.
everything. So thank you.
My parents were 15 going on 16 when I was born, and so I came home from the hospital to my grandfather's house.
Mm,
And so I had that relationship with my grandfather as well, And one of the things I was telling Jacob, my son, as he's doing this interviewing everybody in the family about my papa, is, everybody thought that they were his favorite. And I said, but I really was. All right.
yeah. Don't get
You
it
know?
twisted.
Yeah. But the ability to have that kind of deep relationship with your grandfather, what a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Say that grandparents are like are twin spirits. So
Mm,
there's ways like for our, if you think about the gift that our children and our parents have for us, it skips a generation, right? So there, so like there could be a way that we walk as twin spirits with our grandparents, and that there's just an ease sometimes to relationship there.
yeah. Mm.
Mm,
It's powerful. Yeah. Well, when my mother and father had me, that was the place where I went. They lived in the apartment upstairs, I think right above my
yeah,
grandparents' apartment. So in essence, I came home to them
yeah,
too. Which,
yes,
means a lot. So
mm,
uh, yeah. And I just his dream of, ownership and all of that is just ringing like in my heart, especially with, the gentrification and the moving out and of people and just all of that stuff is what he foretold
yeah,
years ago. He would say, keep me building.
yeah,
One day it's going to be worth something. Y'all will never need a place to stay. That was his dream. And I'm still kind of finding my way with that. Like,
yeah,
what does that look like manifesting through me? I know some of it is about, him wanting space for people. And I think
yes,
I'm doing that in the space that I have now.
yeah,
Um, but that coupled with like some dreams that I have, I'm interested in this journey of, what that could look like.
yes,
Him and if me and my granddaddy continue to join forces in this.
yeah, yes.
can manifest together, so.
Yeah. What I love too, you're talking about, the way you're able to help people in the business that you're doing and the way that you're living. How do you think what you're doing now is connected to your own spiritual growth and development journey?
Mm, how is it connected to my own spiritual growth and development journey? Ooh. Okay, ask me in a different way.
Yeah. So you you're just living your life.
Yeah.
And because we are, human beings, but spiritual beings having a human experience,
Mm-hmm.
how do you live out your own spiritual beliefs in the work that you get to do?
Oh, okay. By, well, honestly, what's coming to me by literally showing up.
Mhm.
I know there are things that I want to do, and that's all in alignment with like who I am. I love to connect. I love, bringing people together. I love the arts. I love community engagement and development, and just seeing people have and get what they need, and have wonderful experiences. So, like, I pull all of those things into the things that I do. But I think it's also this other piece where I have to not know a lot of the times.
Yes. That's
I'm
surrender.
laughing now, but I'll be crying later when I'll be like, I don't know.
Ah,
I don't know what I'm doing here. I just show up sometimes and I'll be like, okay, tell me something. What's the
yeah.
next thing? And then, I'll hear something or I get an email or, a call. And sometimes I just rock with it like that for real. Did I answer the question,
You
Quanita?
did, because you talked about surrender, which for me is part of the spiritual journey of the not knowing, is being willing to move forward even when you don't know, to trust your
Mm-hmm.
own divine guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. you know and I talk about it during those times, is like I go on a treasure hunt. I start like looking for it because I know there's gonna be treasure there if I feel that I need to be there. So look for like, what is the treasure, and I'll always find it when I look for it. you
Mm-hmm.
know and I also heard this piece around like, um the caring for your community, the understanding of the connectedness that we all have,
Mm-hmm.
that you show up because you know that we're connected. And even you talking about your grandfather and doing this journey with him, the trust and the spiritual piece of that, your ancestors, they're people who have gone before you,
Mm-hmm.
that you still are going to for guidance, and that we can. Someone asked me, I was being interviewed on a podcast yesterday, and someone asked me about my own kind of like prayer and how do I pray and all this kind of stuff. And it's so funny because what came up for me is my relationship with the divine is really quite ordinary. It's like, I don't necessarily have to be on my knees. I talk to God all the time. And sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
good. Sometimes it's like, the divine, it's like I'm mad. I had a friend once who said to me, so why is when it's good, it's spirit, and when it's bad, it's God? And I said, first of all, I didn't even know I did that. So him listening deep enough. And I said, because to me, God is one on one. It's like that personal, like, okay, it's a coming to Jesus kind of moment, right? And spirit is the collective of all of us and that divine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I'm speaking to the collective all, sometimes it's a one on one, it's that personal relationship, you know? And one of the things I love, and one of the reasons I wanted to have you on this podcast is because uh, I really do believe that arts, what's required in the arts is that we go inside and
Yes.
bring what's inside out. So
Yes.
we get to bear witness to each other's souls on a daily basis, heart and soul, I'll say, on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis through art. And I
Mm-hmm.
see you do that. A lot of I mean, like your programs and stuff you do aren't just programs. They're rooted in the arts,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I guess I'm curious about like, yes, you get to serve, but what do you get out of it?
Oh my God, somebody else asked me this question, and it kind of pissed me off when he asked me that too. Because he asked me like you just did. It was more like, so what do you get out of all of
Yeah.
this? you're doing for free. And I'm like, half the time I don't know. I just know what I'm supposed to be doing. What am I getting out of this? Other than maybe living out some of my purpose. Also getting, this is like my art too, though, like, right? Because I get to create experiences and I get to watch people unfold in
Yes.
something that I've created, in
Yeah.
a ecosystem that I've created. I get to watch people make connections. Um, People, are giving themselves to me too in this space. Like, and that's you, like, taught me giving goes both ways. So people are giving themselves to me. They're giving me their stories. And sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, shit, I wasn't prepared for all of that.
Yes.
Okay. But thank you.
Yeah.
And then not that it's mine to take and carry and do something magnificent with, but just for that moment, I got to see somebody else.
Yes.
And I get to have fun. That's what I get. I get fun. I get to have fun. I get to see the ideas that are inside of me come out and manifest. And that reminds me of my power as well.
Yeah.
I get to see how much of a creator I can be and that I am.
Yeah.
I had a meeting. Well, most of my meetings are back there in my office space. And I always tell people, like, I didn't want a desk and a chair and have people come sit across from me like I'm some big boss or authority figure, although I can, but not the space for it. I'm like, no, it's just like, our culture. Come in the living room,
Yes.
sit down, let's talk. We gonna get to the business, but girl, we done been laughed, we done cried, we done told some jokes, and we done came up with this whole plan that we're about to go out and make all this great impact,
Yeah.
all in one sitting in this space where I got Jet magazines and record players and things to help people peel back the layers and know that, like, damn, this is the space where I can just relax.
Yeah.
Off the mask that I've been wearing all day,
Yes.
professionalism and what we're taught professionalism is. And like, you can't have all of these things, a chill, relaxed conversation, laugh, talk, cry, and get work done.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
white culture has taught us that they have to be separated. Like, they have just totally dismantled human interaction and put them in these spaces. And that jacks us up, man.
It does. We are both divine beings and human beings.
Yeah.
And I would say when I'm in more of one than the other, sometimes it's all off, right?
Off.
So it's like, how do we own all of who we are?
By living. You
Yeah.
talked about, like, people think you have this big spiritual practice, probably when they think of you, they think like Quanita be doing all these extra
Yeah.
things. I can imagine that people would think that about me too. And then when they talk to me, I'd be like, I wake up and I made a vow and a commitment to live
Yes.
and
Yeah.
see what
And to
shows up,
listen.
what comes up, and to listen and
Yes.
then respond and just do my best. That's all at the end of the day.
Yes.
Then I do.
I told you before we started that I'm doing a series right now with artists, and I invited you because I see you as an artist.
Okay.
And and I say that, and it's so funny because I look even back behind you is the poster you created of a quote I said. Like,
Oh, yeah.
creative stuff, right?
You see it? You see it? Okay.
That is so funny.
I see it.
So this creativity, the art, it's like I believe it's spirit brought to the ground. And so we get to share. And so I love that you got there. I was saying, like, all your stuff is the way that you live your life in this artful way. You
Yeah.
know? You
Yeah.
are in the
Ooh.
dance with spirit. And to me, that's what art is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just, brought me back to me being an artist,
Yeah.
and thinking about family as in spiritual family,
Yeah.
spiritual bloodlines, I guess. Mr. O'Neill,
Yeah.
he's the one that brought that out of me just by talking to me one day. And then I just start going back. I was, working in the mall, and I just start going back to the art gallery.
Yeah.
Anytime I could get a chance to sit and just listen to him talk. And before I knew it, he gave me a paintbrush.
Uh-huh.
Painting faces with him and Miss O'Neill and their team all around the city.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that is not something that I take lightly.
Mm,
That he would entrust that in me and saw
mm,
what you said you just saw.
yeah.
And I had no clue, I never thought to do something like that. And that was just a major um, period of growth, in my life. That was like a little bit, yeah, it was before I met you. So just that whole period of meeting you and Mr. O'Neill and just all of these people, and that period was like right after my mother passed too.
Mm,
So I wasn't left,
yes.
and I'll get that more and more. Like she exited, but he brought me all these parent figures and big sister figures, and it's just been wonderful.
Yeah. I love that Mr. O'Neill showed up again as another grandfather father figure.
Yes.
I tell my kids often, look for your community mamas and papas, right?
Yep.
Because they'll show up for you.
He showed up for me. He really did, and I will never, ever, ever forget. Yeah, what he means to me is right up there with my grandfather. Mr. O'Neill, Quanita. We was at like we could be anywhere looking at any piece of art, and we'll be standing there looking at it together. And Mr. O'Neill, I don't care if it was the Monet at the Cincinnati Art Museum, he would say, "Well, that ain't nothing. You can do that," and I'd be like, oh, "Wait a minute, damn, can I?" And she's like, "Wow, Mr. O'Neill said I could do that. Then maybe I can." There's so many other things and beautiful ways that he showed up for me and my family. And we would be out and people would think I was his daughter. I was like, no, that's Toy Lynn. But I guess, we kind of favor with the eyes or whatever. And, so they are still a pretty, big part of my life, Miss O'Neill. And so, yeah, grandfather, father energy is
Yes.
potent, and I'm so thankful for it.
Yes. And I think about that and I think about like the importance and the need of that energy now,
Yeah,
of the healthy masculine.
the healthy
Some of the things
masculine.
you were talking about knowing that they've got you, knowing that you're loved and that you have something to offer and and that you're enough in that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing I heard once, it's like mother love is the I love you no matter what. Father love is I love you because you're worthy. And
Mm.
not that it's connected to gender, but that's that energy that, in those two different ways. And there's a way in which the, oh, you could do that, speaks about, I love you because you're worthy,
Uh-huh.
you're
Mm.
capable, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. You just made me think about like just the difference in between like my grandmother and how she gave love and showed up versus my granddaddy.
Uh-huh.
Which is kind of like storybook difference. My grandmommy was like, I get away with anything and everything. And he was
Yes.
like, I remember him tearing my little legs up,
Yes.
one time.
Yes.
Still, take me to my granddaddy, period. I don't care.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going where the love is, and that man loves me. And
Yes.
yes, and he told me,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't do that.
Uh-huh. And that's love too. I think uh we so question what love is,
Mm,
you know? And I often will tell this, I'll tell coaching clients when you have a choice to make sometimes to ask the question, if I were loving myself, what would I be doing? And
yes.
that we always know the answer. We can't always do it, but we know the right answer, right? And so
Uh-huh.
that piece, if we really ask ourselves, we know it. We don't always want it to be what it is in the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's
Mm,
different than not knowing.
that's different than not knowing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. So what I don't know if this is the right question, but what
Ask it, we'll figure it
yeah,
out.
we'll figure it out. We'll find our way. What legacy do you hope to leave for your children? You talk about your grandfather's legacy with you. What are
Mhm.
some of the things that you hope that they grab a hold of?
So many. The first one that I started to think about is to um, take care of people and include themselves.
Mhm.
Be kind. Um, um, own your stuff. You know, I have hoped, as I've grown over these 20 years of, doing this work, I hope they can look back and see, like, dang, mama used to, when she snapped, she would come back and tell us, like, that was not about you and apologize and explain to us, a little bit about what she might have been going through. I hope they can take that with them, that piece about owning
Yes.
and coming back, if owning and taking responsibility,
Yeah.
for how you're impacting the room and the people that are close to you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And oh my gosh, so many. And legacy of showing up and doing their work.
Yeah.
I always say I'm a continuous learner, and I really hope that they can take that on too, and never think that they have it all figured out, or that they even have to have it all figured out right now. Yeah, that's some of it.
I think another thing that I appreciate about you and that I see is one of your legacies, one of the things that I watch is um, this piece of the constantly growing of, of being enough, of like I'm willing to try and just step in and I'll learn it on the way, right? That continuous learning process. If we need to like, you know, we'll figure it
Great.
out as we go. But not afraid to leap. One of my favorite quotes is leap and the net will appear. And then
Yeah.
if you leap and the need for the net will disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you doing that. I see you leaping. And I'll say, because sometimes people see that happening for us and they think it's without fear. But the feeling with courage is fear. And so I just
Yes.
want you to know that like I see you doing that and that I believe speaks to our children.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we bought into this whole thing around fearlessness. I mean, there is a certain things you might have more than others, and
Yeah.
you do something so many times, you do work up that muscle,
Yes.
that faith piece. But if you totally eliminate fear, I just think you might just disappear from this planet.
Yes.
You don't evaporate, you shoot off in your rocket, and you mastered the Earth plane. Like, I
Yeah.
think that
I
kind of come with the package when we all come here.
yes. I think fear is developmental. I think there's a way in which, like when we're little, if we're afraid of each step we take, like it makes sense, right? Because we're afraid we're going to fall and everything. But as you grow up, if you paid attention to each step you took, you would trip yourself up, you know? And so the same thing. And so I think there is a point in our growth and development where fear moves from a warning to an invitation,
Mm.
you know? I often say if I'm afraid these days, I'm probably more likely to do it than not because I'm not afraid of little shit anymore. And so
Hmm.
if the fear comes up, it's usually because my ego knows it has something for me, my
Yeah.
shadow ego, and doesn't want to let go. And so that is like, oh, this is an invitation.
And sometimes we don't be liking those
Oh
invitations.
no, no. I like to drag my feet sometimes, but I eventually I'm going, you know.
Right, right. Had that conversation, bust that move, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, what are some of the things you have going on right now that maybe you can share with people and tell them a little bit about how they can find you and what you're up to?
Yeah, so what do we have going on right now? We always have our Canvas Noir Emerging Artist Showcase. That's our monthly art show where we allow artists, the opportunity to come in and kind of read, not kind of, but to create the space to their own
Mhm.
um, imagination. So
Yes.
we posted visual artists, spoken word artists, hairstylists. I mean, it has been so fun to watch these people curate their experiences
Mhm.
around them. So that is May 24th. They're always free, open to everyone. I'm really intentional about getting people in the space, patrons that really want to support and work with these folks, purchase their art or whatever. We're also working on, we meaning me, team of one. I have a wonderful board, I will say that.
Yes.
We're working on the Midwest Regional Black Culture Fest. This is year 9. It started off as the Sweet and Natural Fest in 2016. And we have vendors, resources for the community, fitness activations, a fashion and hair show, a live DJ, and a host. And it's all about really celebrating Black joy and our culture and just the very best of what we bring to the table. Sometimes we hear the word Black culture, it just comes with so many things, and sometimes they're negative. And I'm like, this is built around all of the wonderful things that we brought to the surface and brought to this world. And so we just have a beautiful day in the park, enjoying the sun, watching the kids play, and supporting small Black-owned businesses as well. High level, we're working towards the first annual NCBA National Commission for Black Arts and Entertainment
Mm.
Conference, which
Nice.
will bring artists, arts professionals, art leaders, and patrons together for a couple of days of wonderful conversations,
Mm.
networking, socializing, activations, and really creating. My vision is to see people come together and walk away with teams that they have to work on major projects. And we just like blow the roof off and really decide and determine that day that we have all we need, regardless of what's being taken away or who ain't doing what. We showing up and we doing the work for ourselves to carry our culture forward in the most impactful and biggest way ever. So
Yes.
you guys can look for that in the spring of 2026. And always can, folks can become members of the organizations. We are working diligently to create a creative ecosystem like none other. Again, I totally believe that we have all we need within ourselves and in each other. And not that we don't have people that can join in and help and support, but starting with us, always top tier, period. So that people can find more information at www.ncbae.org.
Yes. And we'll make sure that we attach that information and that link to the
Okay.
podcast when we post it. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know I was going to ask you this question either, but I ask this question often when I used to do the African American Spirit Healing Workshop.
Yes.
And one of the questions I have for you is, what's something that you love about being Black?
Ooh, let's see. Let's see. Everything popping. No. Oh, okay. Let's see. The way that we can just communicate. I know people say that all the time, but I just think it's super dope and just like we really be doing that. We can communicate with the look of an eye
Hmm.
or a body gesture or sounds. Somebody like,
Yeah.
mm, mm, you don't know everything that this person is saying. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I already know. So that language, that unspoken language and ability we have to connect, just almost telepathically,
Yes.
is like top tier again. So I would say that hidden language or unspoken language, I think is a superpower.
Yeah. I'll
What
say
about
one.
you? Yeah.
I'll say one, and this is one I didn't know I was going to say this one either, but it, it's a surprise today. Um, for me, it's part of the wound, actually, that is a gift. So this
Mm-hmm.
whole piece about during slavery, we had to learn how to be invisible because it
Mm-hmm.
kept us safe. Like to be
Yeah.
in a room and not be seen or heard. And, one of the things I remember realizing at one point that I was being invisible because I had learned how to so well.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, our superpower is, first of all, if you can be invisible, if they can't see you, they can't stop you.
Period.
And secondly, if you can be invisible, we can learn how to become visible too. And we
Hmm.
can use each of them when it's to our benefit.
Hmm. Ooh, like stealth. I like that.
Exactly. I used to have a car. I used to have a
Yes.
Geo Metro that I said had a cloaking device on it. Nobody used to see me in my car on the street. you
Yes.
know and so we could go stealth, or we could be seen, and and really take up the place that we take up in the world, you know
Hmm.
because we have presence as well.
Yes. Did you see any of the Met Gala or the pictures or anything?
Yes, I have. Yes.
In
Yeah.
those type of spaces, it's just like, oh, it does something to my soul.
Yes. And
Mm,
Africa being the birthplace of all creation.
mm, mm,
Someone once said, you can never strive as a culture as long as you're hating your mother.
mm.
Yeah. Wow. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your yes in this. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we end?
That I love you.
Oh, I love you too. I'm so glad that we get to know each other this lifetime.
Yes, me too. What a gift.
I would
And what
I would say so.
fun. And what, oh my God, all the words, Quanita. Like you see me in so many different ways and aspects of myself.
Mm,
And I am so thankful
mm,
for you in that.
thank you.
That's something. That is really something. And I know I'm not the only one.
Mm,
So that's just, I don't know. That's my first time having that thought in that way. So I'm sure more words will come to what I'm feeling and what I'm trying to express. But yeah,
yeah.
it's power. And I'm thankful for you in that. And I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for trusting me with your journey over the years,
Yeah, for
and for
sure.
witnessing mine too.
Hmm.
Again, that giving that goes both ways. I'm so grateful, and I learned so much from you, with you, and I don't take it for granted.
Thank you.